Society has broken down the family construct. Society has made women think they have to be in the workplace, that they have to be this boss babe, that they have to be this person that is just like the husband that they want. Make this make sense, guys. Make it make sense. You can't. And then men have been demonized. God, I've been in this position. Demonized to not be masculine. Basically, when we want to stand up, we want to be strong, supportive, fucking tough, capable. We want to have all these things. And I'm like, man, this is how I want to be. This is my natural state of being, is to be this masculine, forceful yet calm and peaceful person who is able to provide, able to protect, has a massive capability for violence. I'll explain that.
ChatGPT, if you were the devil, how would you destroy the young people of the next generation without them realizing it?
The way I would destroy the young people of the next generation without them even noticing is this. I'd start early, before they even know who they are. And I'd keep them so distracted, they never even think to ask. I'd remove purpose from their childhoods. Make sure they're addicted to dopamine before they even hit their teens, until they're overstimulated, underdeveloped, and unable to sit still, so that by the time real life demands something from them, they're already slaves to impulse. Oh. I'd let them chase pleasure, chase noise, chase approval. And I'd make silence feel unbearable. Then I'd make faith look like homework, something boring, rigid, and irrelevant. I'd convince them that obedience and honoring parents is weakness, and package rebellion as self-love. I'd tell them independence means isolation, that needing people is embarrassing, that asking for guidance is outdated. I'd shift the culture so that sin looks like self-expression. Let them believe their desires are divine, and anything that restrains them, especially God, is their enemy. I'd glamorize influencers who stand for nothing. I'd make vanity look like confidence, and make fame the highest form of validation. I'd keep them stuck by always comparing themselves to everything they see on social media. Then I'd keep them afraid of thinking deeply, ashamed of walking against the crowd, and desperate to fit in and belong to a world that's falling apart. And when they finally feel the emptiness, I'd make sure they never trace it back to the absence of God. I'd keep them chasing empty validation loops, podcasts, self-love routines, anything but submission. I'd tell them, you don't need a tribe. You don't need brotherhood. You don't need to be around people who remind you of God. And finally, I'd re-engineer the world itself so that the tribes of evil feel welcoming and the communities of truth feel foreign, weird, and boring. That's how I'd win. Not with blood, not with fire, but with confusion and comfort.
Ooh. Tell me that didn't give you chills. Tell me that didn't creep you out to the fullest extent. I mean, okay. I want to digest this with you. I want to process what was just said there, because if you really want to put it down, if you really want to talk about what's happening today, what's happening to our youth, what's happened to us, how addicted we are to dopamine response, how addicted we are to distraction and the comparison game, it feels kind of evil. It feels like there's something omnipresent about an evil thing about how we're living every single day. With this, first of all, this thing is evil. I know we just watched it on this. I know you're probably watching this podcast on one of these devices or on TV or on something. And yes, these things I think can be very, very evil. We can also spread very good information, but when you're addicted to this, when you're addicted to dopamine response on social media and all these things, that's when it becomes a detriment. I want to talk about a few things that this thing covered, and we're gonna call it the Devil's Playbook, because that's what it is. And one of the things that is said, destruction doesn't always come through chaos; it comes through cloaked comfort. How comfortable are you every single day? Now, I talk about this all the time. Comfort, walking the easy path, the easy road in life. How has that ever benefited you? How have you ever gotten anywhere in life? Have you ever accomplished something that it was just easy? You just walking, snapping your fingers, a little dance to your step. When have you ever gotten that success point going down that path? I've never had it. People behind the cameras have never had it. Anybody in this room, outside this studio, they've never had it. When you cloak comfort, as the goal, the idea of life, pleasure and comfort, that's a hedonistic society. That's a society that is only looking out for itself, and there's nothing really outside of it. And then you end up really accomplishing pretty much jack shit. You don't really go anywhere. So let's go through the systematic way that the devil, I don't care if you believe in the devil or not, devil's real. Let's talk about how this evil source is trapping us in this comfort loop, in this way of being that we're not going to be able to save unless we're completely aware of it. Convenience and ease, instant gratification, long-term fulfillment. Which one's better for you, right? What would you rather have? If I tell you that you have to wait 5 years to accomplish something, or if I say you can have it instantly, what are you going to pick? Probably instant, right? Just like we have everything else instant. You post a picture online. What do you get? You get an instant like. How much does that make you feel good? It's a dopamine response. You're getting a dopamine hit. Long-term fulfillment, people don't really think about this anymore because people really don't want to put in the work. And people are quitting things left and right. And I've been there. 100% I will admit that I have been in that gratification loop where I want everything to be completely instant. And then I realized that nothing actually long-term lasts that way. All of the things that I have done and all the things that I have today and all of the positive shit that I have going on in my life, it all came through length of time and hardship, taking a hard road, taking a hard path, and avoiding instant gratification, even actually doing something complete opposite, delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is a superpower. It's a hack. And I'll explain to you why. Why does it matter if, let me give it a stupid, okay, this watch. Right here, this watch. Why does this watch matter? It doesn't actually matter. Why does it matter to me? If I had all the money in the world and I could buy this watch 100 times over and this was not anything special and this had no meaning whatsoever, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give a shit, right? This watch to me is a Grail watch. It's a Grail watch, Vacheron Constantin. It's a watch that I've always wanted my entire life. I'm a watch collector. I enjoy them. It's very expensive, okay? But I could have afforded this a long time ago. I could have put it on a credit card, no problem. I could have bought it cash, no problem. But I decided to delay the gratification for this until I had a reason to get a trophy. Does that make sense? I was in Dubai. I wanted to buy this at the Dubai boutique. I actually bought it with Gary right here behind the camera. He and I bought it together. He has videos and pictures of it. We could probably pop some up right here. You know, but I could have gotten this watch on the secondhand market, no problem. But it wouldn't have meant anything. The delayed gratification for Success Point was the main thing that makes this watch special. And I will now never sell this watch in my life. Where otherwise, if I could just get it whenever, it has less meaning, okay? So there's something about what this ChatGPT prompt said, and it's the equation between like the death of struggle and the death of growth. I want you to kind of go through that in your head real quick. Without struggle, there cannot be growth. Anything in life, business, making money, relationships. We'll make it an easy one. What relationship have you ever been in that's successful? I pray that most of you have a successful marriage or boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, whatever. I am hopeful that you have that. If you don't give up, okay? But if you have it, tell me that didn't come without struggle. Tell me you guys didn't just fight each other left and right to get to that position. Of course you did. Business owners, entrepreneurs. Good. Tell me it was easy. Tell me you didn't have struggles. Tell me you didn't have sleepless nights. Tell me that you didn't put everything that you could into the situation to get where you are now. There is no success without struggle. There is no light without dark. There's no flowers without a little bit of rain. It's going to rain. Got to have that for flowers, okay? You have to have that perceived negative and that hardship to get the positive. And when you look at destroying the fabric of success and and positivity, yeah, make everything comfortable, make everything easy. Uber Eats, I can Uber Eat a meal anytime. I can go on any of these apps and I can have anything delivered to me at any time. What is that? That's comfort. That's comfort, that's ease, and nothing comes out of walking the comfortable path in life. Not a single thing. Not a single thing good. Another topic on here is reprogramming of values. What is your value system? I bet you never even thought about it. You ever sat there and tried to write and say, okay, I've done this recently. It was weird to do it the first time, to be completely honest. And I've done this and I'll sit there and I'll pen, paper, just, all right, what are my values? Yeah? Think about it. Just real quick. Give yourself a second. What values do I want to portray? What do I want in my partner? What do I want my children to learn? Who do I want to do business with? If you don't know your own values and your values are mixed up already, how are you possibly going to find the right tribe and people to be around when you don't even know what your own values are? So we talk about reprogramming values. It's what it really is, and what this has kind of shown, it's blurring the moral lines of what you really should be focusing on. It's funny. And I just got reminded of this. I didn't even realize it. I was at the gym this morning and I just joined this private member cigar lounge. Patrick Bet-David happens to own it. Friend of mine, colleague of mine, business associate of mine. Guy's awesome. If you guys don't know who PBD is, I'm sure you do. But I got interviewed today and he said, what are your morals and values? That was the first thing that he asked me. He said, what are your morals and values? And I was like, I had to think for a second. I was like, I said, okay. This is how I answered. I said, I walk with integrity at all times. I do everything with integrity, honesty, and with a measure of honor first and foremost. And he kind of paused, and I think he was expecting more. And that's all. I just stopped talking. And he's like, wow. He's like, if a lot of people thought like that, shit would be a lot better. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. So when we talk about blurring moral lines, yeah, it's subjective, sure. It's relative, and what happens is when you start to kind of blur these lines, when the line between good and evil gets blurred, and then vices and virtue get blurred, and then what is good, what is bad? Well, that's when society gets real messed up. I mean, I hate to go into it, and yeah, some of you are going to feel attacked by this shit. But like, why are we so okay with pornography and with nudity and with OnlyFans and with all, like, this is normal. Girls are they wear OnlyFans on the damn shirt. They wear an OnlyFans hat. Basically saying, I do porn openly, publicly. This is fucking sick to me. This is bad. And I'll tell you right now, ladies that just got triggered, that just got pissy about it, I'm going to tell you right now that'll haunt you for the rest of your life. I know that's a shitty thing to say. Well, my past shouldn't matter. It's a shitty thing to say, right? It does. Your past matters, especially to the type of man that you want to end up with, that you want to be with, that you want to live your life with and have children with. The type of man that you value the most. Okay, we're talking to the OnlyFans girls, the pornography people, putting your ass all out there. Shit, you can just go on Instagram. It's basically pornography anyway. You're doing that. You are lowering your value in the relationship and sexual marketplace. But it's not just about that. We're talking about the overarching theme of this right now in blurring this line between vice and virtue, between good and bad, between right and wrong. This is not normal. The way that we are behaving as a society, the way that things have been blurred, the way that things have been misconstrued as okay, it's not okay. I'm telling you right now, it's not okay. If you're doing these things, I'm telling you, I don't care what society says, there is something in your mind, if you're not a complete psychopath, that says, this is not right. This is wrong. You know it. I just challenged you on it. And if you had any little spark in your brain, if you are not completely psychopathic, something in your head just said, fuck, he's right. That's wrong. You know, and identity. Putting yourself into these identity boxes. This is a huge one for me, and I can't stand this shit. Labels, politics, trends, you know, making it so about yourself that you don't actually care about what collective society is even doing or what is really going on with your perceived box, your perceived group of people. Labeling yourself and being so rigid in your belief structure and your tribe to a point where you can't listen to anybody else. Holy shit, you guys drive me nuts. I've been blocked. I've been demonized. I've been told I'm an evil, shitty person because I had a different political belief than someone else. You know how fucking stupid that is? Do you know how stupid that is for a person to do that? I don't do that to anybody. Why? Because I know who I am. I know who I am. I have differences of opinion with a lot of people, but I respect everybody's opinion. I can have a conversation with them, and I will not demonize somebody for their opinion. That reprogramming of values is a huge issue. This is what this is talking about. And now, probably the most important thing that has been a detriment to the world is the breaking of the family. The breaking of the family, the breaking of familial roles, the breaking of the mother, father, childhood environment. I'm a victim of it. My daughter's a victim of it. I wish to God the most difficult thing for me was knowing that my ex and I are not going to be together for my daughter. We're doing the best we can, and I believe that it will be a great thing for my daughter. But why is that a thing? Why has the family just completely just been torn apart? We can dissect the shit out of this. We can dissect this so much. We have some things written down here, you know, absenteeism, emasculation, mockery in the media, replacing guidance with indifference. Man, Jade is on this stuff when she's making these lists. Jade behind the camera, let me tell you. She's really good at putting this stuff together. Let's talk about what has happened with the masculine feminine environment and how that has been completely just eroded. Men don't know how to be men anymore. Women don't know how to be women anymore. We have been completely brainwashed to think that we're all the same, that we're equal, that we're, oh yeah, did I just trigger you? Did I piss you off a little bit when I just said we're equal? We're not. We're not. Do you want me to yell it louder? Does this pick up? Do I need to yell it louder in the microphone? We're not the same. Men and women are not the same. Not even close. My opinion, I think we're more yin and yang. I think we are two halves of a whole. Yes, we're whole people individually, but I think together, when we are truly in our masculine and feminine environment, I think that at that point, we are superheroes together. If you have the right woman and the right man together, and they're both understanding how to be rooted in their masculinity and femininity, holy shit. Watch out. That's your power couple. That's real. They're going to raise some great children. They're going to change the world. They're going to be what we all should strive to be. But here's what's happened. You know, I'm not just going to blame second, third wave feminism, although that is have a blame to it. Society has broken down the family construct. Society has made women think they have to be in the workplace, that they have to be this boss babe, that they have to be this person that is just like the husband that they want. Make this make sense, guys. Make it make sense. You can't. And then men have been demonized. God, I've been in this position. Demonized to not be masculine. Basically, when we want to stand up, we want to be strong, supportive, and fucking tough, capable. We want to have all these things. And I'm like, man, this is how I want to be. This is my natural state of being, is to be this masculine, forceful, yet calm and peaceful person who is able to provide, able to protect, has a massive capability for violence. I'll explain that. But can control it. Okay? That's a man. That's a man. I wish I could explain to you how difficult it was for me to find my masculinity at one certain point because I didn't grow up with a father figure. You know, I had two father figures abruptly ripped out of my life. Sucked. I gravitated towards, I know it sounds so cheesy, like watching Arnold Schwarzenegger in movies. And, you know, I grew up in, I was born in 85, guys. I'm a little bit older. Okay. So I grew up in the 90s when all these action stars, and then watching bodybuilding and then becoming a police officer at 21, 22 years old, finding male role models to figure out what the fuck masculinity was. What was masculinity? What does that mean? What does it mean to be a man? But when you're breaking down societally, from a society perspective, when you're breaking down what is a man, what is a woman, and they're blurring the lines, and men don't know how to be men and women don't know how to be women, and we're almost switching spots a lot of times, no wonder everybody's depressed. No wonder everybody doesn't want to even strive to be successful. No wonder. We completely eroded the idea of what it even is to be a man or be a woman. Let me ask you women something. Comment in here. I want this to be a discussion. Let me ask you women somewhere. If I tell you I'm a masculine man, I want to be a provider and protector, and that means a lot of things. And I have lists. We're gonna do full-length podcasts on these lists. But if I want to be a man who provides everything for you, never have to work, I'm gonna make sure I take care of you. Yes, I respect you. Yes, I am faithful to you. Yeah, okay, all right. Good man. It's a good man. And I want to do all these things for you. But I want you to stay at home. I don't want you to have a career. I want you to have some kids. I want you to take care of the home. I want you to take care of me. How many of you get this little like, oof, can't say that? How many of you hear that? How many of you, just when I said that, got a little like jab in the kidney? You're like, fuck, that's wrong. Where did that come from? Who told you it was wrong? You talk to men, you know, I don't know. I have a problem calling them all men. Sorry, disrespectful. I have a problem with it though. Here's what it is. When I talk to males, can we call them males? Is that good? We'll call them males. When I hear males tell me that, no, I want a woman, I want a wife that will provide just as much as me and make the same money as me. And we cohabitate, we pay for the bills together, we do all these things together. When I hear this, I'm like, bro, you're a boy. What are you talking about? You don't want your wife to be at home and taking care of kids? Wow, no, I mean, you know, that's later. That's not how it works, bro. That's not how it works, buddy. If you don't establish this shit early in a relationship, you don't establish shit early with a woman, you think they're going to just give up their career they built for, what, 5, 10, 15, 20 years? And say, okay, time to be a housewife. No, you've masculized them. You put them in a masculine perspective for years or decades. They're not going to switch back. You have now effectively, again, this is rough, guys, I'm sorry, ruined them. They don't know how to behave in the feminine capacity that you want them to when you think it's time. These need to be established early. And men, it kind of rests on you to do this. Because the family dynamics, the family roles, you're supposed to be the leader, guys. Women can and will, in my opinion, good woman who's not hyper masculinized or not totally super into men are bad. You know what I mean? With feminism, you know, hyper feminist women. Can't wait to have some of them on the podcast, by the way. But if you have a real good woman and you tell them, I want to lead, and then you show them that you can lead, you have the capacity to lead, you have the capacity to provide and protect and be this person for them, be this role model for them in the family dynamic, a woman will follow you. The right woman will follow you, I swear to God. But it starts with you. If you're broke, unsuccessful, uneducated, not masculine, not capable, not mentally prepared to deal with the storm of a woman, because they're emotional creatures, you're going to deal with them. They're going to give you a storm. Is what it is, how it is. If you're not prepared for that, you don't have the capability for that, what woman's going to follow you? Starts with you guys. So the breaking of the family dynamic, this has been a societal experiment for decades. If ChatGPT was the devil, That's one of the main ones. Men don't know who they are. Women don't know who they are. Holy shit. What chaos can that be? We're seeing it today. We're seeing it today. Addiction to distraction. Now this one, I can do a full-length 5-hour podcast on distraction alone. But I'm going to get a coffee first. Can I get my quadruple shot of espresso? Okay, now that I have my quadruple shot of espresso, it's not that much. Calm down, it's fine. Have a long day. We're going to talk about addiction to distraction, which I'm extremely passionate about because I'm a victim of the addiction to distraction in society, just like you are. You know, and I hate to demonize social media and podcasting and, you know, TVs and all these things because you're more than likely watching this on a device. On your TV, on your laptop, on your phone. And that's okay. If we are learning something together, if it's productive, yeah. But if you're sitting there and you're the person that just, TikTok's the worst. When I see people on TikTok, I'm like, you've clearly lost way too many brain cells at doing this shit. Just true. If you're sitting there and you can do this and just mindlessly scroll over and over again, even if you do that for 10 minutes, I think it's just wildly ridiculously, like it's a ridiculous waste of time. Why are you doing it? I'm asking you. Ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you so addicted to not being in reality? Yeah? What's pressing you to do that? Well, first of all, you've been conditioned to. Okay. Not your fault. But if you're aware of it, then it is your fault, right? And if you're like me, everything's your fault. Everything's my fault. If this espresso shot burned my tongue, it's my fault. Not the coffee maker's fault. It's not even the coffee's fault. It's my fault because I'm a dumbass because I drank it before it was cooled down. If you are addicted to distraction, here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a really easy tip. And you have to follow it. Let me preface this. You ever made a promise to yourself? Then you broke it? How did that feel? How does it feel to say, I'm Tomo, I'm talking to myself, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, I'm going to do this. And then you don't do it. You feel like a piece of shit, don't you? Like you feel like you're like, wow, I just promised myself, me, that I'm going to do something and I broke the promise right away or in a week or in a month. That feels like shit. And if you don't feel that, you're a psychopath. Okay, probably. But do this. If you feel like you are addicted to scrolling, if you're addicted to your phone, if you're addicted to social media, if you're addicted to watching my YouTube, I don't even want you to do that. I don't want the views. Don't care. Go away. But if you're getting value from this, cool. Get value, then learn. I don't want this mindless scrolling behavior from you. So here's what you're going to do. Take your phone, unplug your TVs, turn your internet off, take your phone, put it in a safe, put it somewhere out of reach, or have somebody in your household or a friend of yours put it out of reach and hide it from yourself. Start with 1 hour. I want you to feel this. I want you to feel what it feels like to have no distraction. Do it at your house, by the way. Not anywhere else. Don't do it you can't do it at work. I get it. It's fine. Can't do it anywhere else. You know, if you're on vacation, you can do it on vacation. I would love that too. But you're also being distracted on vacation. So do it at your house. Normal day. Put that phone away. No TV, no phone, no internet, no distraction. Sit there with your thoughts. I don't even want you to read a book, although reading a book's okay. I want you to sit there. Just sit there. And I want your mind to flow. And I want you to feel how uneasy it is for you. Guess what? It's hard because you need it. Because you are addicted to the dopamine response of distraction. You can't even sit with yourself for an hour. Think about that. Think about how nervous you get. And if you haven't tried it before, try it. Go there. So when you do this, start with an hour. Then start with 2. All right, go to 2 hours. then go to 4 hours. And tell your family to make sure, because, when I shut my phone off or I go on Do Not Disturb for, 2-3 days at a time, people think I'm dead. I think Jay's been one of them. I think, they're like, okay, is Tomo dead? Has anybody heard from him? Tomo died. He hasn't posted on his story. Where is he? It's an experiment to rid yourself of dopamine response and rid yourself of the constant need for distraction, because I'll tell you what, we're all addicted to this shit. We're all addicted. There's multiple notifications on my phone right now, and it pisses me off. This is a very useful, beautiful tool that we have created as man. It is also the worst thing that we have ever created. The worst. This thing is the worst thing that we have ever created for society and for interaction and for socialization. And when you talk about addiction to distraction, it all starts here. And they're going to start young. Keep your kids away from this shit and learn how to manage your time with your phone so you are not in a constant addiction loop for dopamine through something like this. Try my 1 hour thing. Try it. Feel how uncomfortable it is. Here's one of the last ones. Fear of pain and silence. Kind of goes with what I just said, right? How many of you are very, very uneasy being alone? Whether it's in a relationship, or just actually sitting alone, or whether, do you get stir crazy? For me, I used to have that problem. I was younger. Almost 40 now. I don't have the problem anymore. When I'm alone, when I don't have my phone on me, when I have zero distraction, when I don't have to speak to anyone, or not saying that I don't like interacting with people. I'm a very social person. Anybody that knows me personally, if you guys have seen me personally out in public, I'm extremely sociable. But when I need my downtime, when I need some decompression time, my alone time is beautiful. It's great. And the fear of silence and being alone is a real problem. And that all stems back to this dopamine response, right? So emotional fragility, being so emotionally fragile. And I know this doesn't really go completely with what I'm talking about in being alone, but this goes with the fear of pain and the fear of silence and the fear of being alone. And you know what I actually think it is? I think it's a general fearfulness, period. How fearful are you of life, of possibility, of being emotionally hurt? The best things that ever happened to me are the worst things that ever happened to me. Do you want me to say it again? The best things that have ever happened to me were first perceived by me, maybe by everybody else, as the worst things. That relationship that failed, thank God. That time I lost that job or career or promotion, thank God. The time I lost all that money, thank God. Had to learn something. Being so overly emotional and not understanding that you need to go through pain to learn lessons. When you get this, you have a superpower that so many people lack. And this is why I want to tell you this. Because people dwell too much. People automatically put themselves in this negative spiral, this downward spiral of negativity. And you are only basing everything on your emotion and on the hurt and on the pain. And when you do that, you refuse to learn the lesson. I believe in God. I believe that every piece of pain that comes to me and everything that happens to me and all of these detrimental and shitty things that happen in my life, I'm like, there's a lesson. There's a lesson. One of the things that I always say is that, I never lose. I win or I learn. Well, if you do that, if you have that perspective with absolutely everything in life, you can't lose, because every loss was a learning experience. If you learn, you won't do it again. But here's what most people do. They refuse to move forward with a learning behavior. They refuse to look at a situation and say, okay, what was God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I don't care, karma, Gaia, I don't give a shit, okay? I don't care what you want to call this energy, but there is something out there. What was the lesson to be learned? If you aren't asking that question with every single thing that happens to you, and you're only dealing with the fact that you're triggered and that you're a victim and that, oh, woe is me, all these things happen to me, what am I going to do? Shut up. Shut up. Look at it. Be a person that can dissect what is happening to you because you're meant to learn a lesson. That's what I believe. And if you don't even try to learn a lesson, if you don't even put yourself in a position to realize it's a lesson, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be forced to learn it again. You get what I'm saying? If it's funny that way. Here's how I'll say it. You can either learn the hard way or the harder way. No easy way. There is no lesson that's easy. They're all hard. Your perception of hard is yours. But all of it is hard. You have to go through some shit to get through here. Okay? So this is my perspective. If God makes you go through this pain and this thing, that's the hard way. You can get through it. You'll learn. Next time you won't make that mistake. If you refuse, well, guess what next time is going to be? It's going to be fucking harder. It's going to be harder. It's going to suck. It's going to suck super bad. And if you can't get yourself into the mentality of you need to learn a lesson through every single hardship, and if you're just going to be this fragile victim, just weak person, men or women, if you do this, if you do that thing where you don't even look at it as a lesson, you're screwed in life. I'll just say it. You have no chance. You're not going to find a successful relationship if you didn't learn from the last ones. You're not going to make money if you didn't learn what money even is and what the failures that you made with money in the past. You're not going to build a successful business if you didn't learn the lessons from the failure business, if you just gave up. I'm a victim. It's stupid. This is stupid. This is really simple behavior. I'm trying to just show you that if you are doing this, if you can't get yourself out of this culture mentality, you are fucked in everything. Hate to be so brutal about it. It's real though. Freedom. What is freedom? Freedom from comfort, freedom from ego, surrendering. So here's how I look at freedom, okay? What does freedom mean to me? It means that, I don't know how to say this in a polite way. Should I not say it in a polite way? Yeah, I should. Who cares at this point? Do we have an F-bomb swear counter on the corner of this video? Can we do that? Should we do that one? That would be a good idea. I get animated, guys. I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this because I'll tell you what, when I started to realize these things, we're talking about the devil's playbook on how to ruin society, how to make the next generation literally get destroyed. We're talking about this. And when I have realized all these things, and I didn't even realize that I realized them, but when I have learned all these lessons myself, I became a better version of myself. I became more powerful. I became more aware of who I am, what I wanted, what I expected from people around me, around my circle. Guys, this is life-changing shit. And I'm excited and animated about this because if I can have one person, one of you, realize this, I have just made the world a better place because you are better. That's why I'm so excited about this shit. Freedom is not the same to me as it is to you. I know that. I'm aware. Freedom to some people may be never worrying about money or bills. Those are one of the things that I consider freedom. Other people's freedom was freedom from governance. You want to go do the, what is it called? Like the homesteading thing, right? You want to go be a homesteader and you don't want to ever deal with anybody and you want to have your little group or community and family and that's how you want to live. That's freedom to you. Fine. Freedom is being able to say no to some of you. Others, it's freedom to say yes, right? It's all dependent on what you want your freedom to be. My freedom, there's a great video on this. I would love to be able to find it. I can see if we can find it real quick. We'll see behind the scenes. The freedom of fuck you. There's a movie, and if we can find it, I will play it for you. The freedom of being able to say fuck you. When I realized what that meant, I used to think it was a little crude and a little stupid. Did you guys find it?
Is it The Gambler?
Yep. You want to play it for me? Let me see it.
Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. Somebody wants you to do something? Fuck you. Boss pisses you off? Fuck you. Own your house. Have a couple bucks in the bank. Don't drink. That's all I have to say to anybody at any social level. Did your grandfather take risks?
Yes.
I guarantee he did it from a position of fuck you. A wise man's life is based around fuck you. The United States of America is based on fuck you.
Based on fuck you.
You're a king? You have an army? Greatest navy in the history of the world? Fuck you, blow me. We'll fuck it up ourselves. Which we have done. Beautiful fuck you position, lost forever.
That's what I'm saying.
King George III looks like a fucking birthday present.
Guys, that's freedom to me. That's freedom to me. And it's not in a negative way, guys. I'm not saying this in a vulgar way. What I'm saying is the premise of what this means. What does freedom mean when you live in a position and you live from a frame of fuck you? The government tells me to do this. Well, if I'm free to the point where I can say fuck you, it's a cool position. If the devil is trying to say this device is what your life needs to be surrounded on, I can say fuck you and throw it in the ocean. Because I don't need it, right? Because everything else around me is built. If I don't want to, if I live in a country or I live in an area where I don't feel like the government is doing the right thing and maybe they're being prohibitive and maybe they're censoring me and maybe they're, well, guess what? Fuck you. I can leave. I can go to a different country. Why? Because I have the capability of doing that. When we're talking about freedom in this perspective, the world makes you think you're free. The world makes you think that you are free to do whatever you want. But what it's actually doing is it's brainwashing you every day. It's brainwashing you in all these things that we talked about earlier. You think that you're free to make these choices, but what's actually happening is you are making the choice they want you to make because you have been brainwashed to think the way they want you to think. Do you understand what I mean by this? Ladies, you have been brainwashed to think that you should be the same as a man. Men, you've been brainwashed to think that you need to be less like a man. You think you're free because you're making decisions. But what actually happened is they've just eroded your conscience. They've eroded the culture of humanity. They've eroded what the idea of God, what the idea of honor and the idea of integrity has even become, not just in the West, globally. The devil, which I believe in, is using culture and using what is basically a psyop to convince you that your choices right now are based on freedom and based on expression and based on a willingness to be part of a better new society. Well, let me tell you what. The new society that I'm seeing and the erosion of honor, integrity, and good and wholesomeness and family dynamics, I don't want any part of it. I don't think you do either. And I think if you really just go deep down inside your soul, I think that you know that that little thing, it's called your conscience, by the way. It's that little voice that says, that's wrong. There are people that don't have that. Those people are psychopaths. Those people are not good people. But most of you will hear what I'm saying, and there will be a small voice in your head that says, you know what, he's right. I need to start looking at this differently. Here's my warning, okay? Here's my warning to you. Here's my warning to everybody. If you don't raise your awareness of these things, if you don't bring yourself to a position where you understand that this is real, that they don't give a shit about you, that they don't actually care if you're free, if you're honorable, if you're honest, if you have a family, if you don't have they don't care. They want you to be slaves to what their new version of life is. The devil wants this. Evil wants this. Yeah? If you refuse to be aware of it, then you are just another cog in their wheel. And they will win. And you will suffer. And your family will suffer. And your generations afterwards will suffer. That's real. Someone else is going to raise your children and can be used by the government because you bought into this bullshit. Raise your standards. Be clear. Fight for clarity. Talk about this. These things that I talked about. Talk to your family about it. Talk to your friends about it. If you want to share this, fine. I don't care. But use what I have given you right here to bring a perspective of reality in what is happening to you every single day, to your loved ones, to your friends, to your family, to your coworkers. Just lead with truth and honesty, and not just truth and honesty in what you say and what you feel. Because I know if you're not a complete psychopath, you feel that all the things that I said here are real. And all the things that I said here are true. And you know what's right and you know what's wrong. Lead your life with love and integrity and honor first and foremost, not just for society, not just for your family, but for yourself. You know the honorable thing to do. Go and do it. Otherwise, the devil's going to take you over.